Hello there, and welcome to another episode of What Do You Call It podcast. I'm your host, GB. Today's guest is the winner of the WWE announcer contest and guest ring announcer for last year's SummerSlam. Please give it up for RAINE CRUZ. How you doing today? You okay?
Hi, I'm doing good. Good
Awesome.
evening for you, I guess.
Yes, I've got work tomorrow, but so I'm more than happy to record this at this time. It's not too late, but I'm more than happy to squeeze time for you. So thank you for coming on. I've listened to one or two of your podcasts before, so I thought I'd have you on and have a fun chat. So let's actually get into it about the WWE announcing contest. I want to know, how did you discover it in the first place?
So I have a friend who loves wrestling as well. And I remember waking up to his text and he says, "Hey, have you seen this? WWE has this contest on TikTok.
Yeah,
They're looking for an announcer, to be like the guest ring announcer at SummerSlam." And I was like, "Oh my God, that is great." But the thing was, I didn't have a TikTok account at that time. Like, I did not know how TikTok worked. And honestly, I had a TikTok account like years
yeah.
ago. It was just too much for me. So it's like I just kind of stayed on Instagram.
Yeah.
But it's
That's
I was like,
literally
oh
me, by the
man.
way. I'm struggling with TikTok still, but Instagram all day
Yeah.
long.
Yeah, right. Because there's so many things you can do on TikTok, right? And I feel like by the time I'm kind of caught up to like the new trend on TikTok, there's a new trend again. And at
Yep.
some point, I was just like, I just want to post my content. you
Upload,
know,
done, and a few hashtags. That's it.
Yeah, and a few hashtags, right? So yeah, he told me about it, and then I was like, man, I'm gonna try this. And so I found out that you have to do a duet with like the ring entrances that WWE had posted. So there's
Hmm.
one for John Cena, Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks. There's one for The Undertaker and Edge, and then there's one with Paul Heyman. And so I actually asked my friends who are wrestlers to kind of help me, and they're like showing me, "Hey, Rain, this is how you like do this and that."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, okay, cool, thank you." So yeah, it was a bit of it was a bit of a struggle at first on how to like upload those videos because I didn't
Yeah.
know how to do the duet thing. And the thing is, I just started the account, so to me, it's like, okay, my account probably does not look like legit, right? Because
Yeah.
like I only had like 60 followers, I think. Because I was just begging my friends and family, please, like, join TikTok, or if you have one, follow me, like my video.
I hope you thanked them all, by the way, like after you won it. Like,
I know, right? But yeah,
that is
thanks
pretty
to my
awesome, man.
friend, because
Yeah.
I remember at that time I was just like, man, I don't know if there's, I don't know where I'm going with this ring announcing thing. And then next thing I know, he was sending me this text message, and I was like, you know what, might as well try it.
Mhm. Yep, and it paid off. And I know that you do have the experience as well with ring announcing, but I will get into that as well. But I want to break down the whole experience of you going to SummerSlam last year. Um, First of all, I want to know before, how did you feel? One, how you when you won, and when you eventually go there, and like how nervous were you? Sort of, just want to get sort of your process and mentality.
Uh-huh. So I remember, first of all, when I joined the contest, I was
Hmm.
like, okay, what are the chances of me winning, right?
Yeah,
But if there is a chance that I actually win the contest, am I ready to be on that kind of stage?
yeah.
Because it's going to be a big stage, right? A lot of
Oh yeah.
people, it's like, am I ready? And my mentality was, you know what? This is my dream. I want to
Mhm.
be on that kind of stage, inside a WWE ring. I want to feel the energy of, the people who also love the same thing that I love, which is wrestling. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this contest. I'm going to put my entries in, and if I get lucky and if I win, it's a test for me. If it's something that I really want to do,
Hmm.
can I really handle the pressure? Or is this something where I get there and I'd be like, oh God, I want this to end right now because I'm super freaking nervous?
Yeah.
So that was like my mentality. Like, to me, if I win this, it's a challenge. It's a test for me. Can I handle the pressure? Because at the end of the day, if that's your dream, you make it there and then you realize, oh God, I don't
Not
want
for
to be
me. Yeah.
right? Like, I want to know now because, being in the independent scene, it's like, you go to these shows and sometimes you get paid, sometimes you don't get paid. And it's like, sometimes you wonder, why am I doing this? Right. But
Yeah.
then you just kind of go back to, you love this thing. Right. And just hope that one day someone will notice you. So that was my mentality, that if I were to win, it was a test for me to kind of know for myself,
Yeah.
do I want to keep doing this to chase this dream, right? And then I remember finding out that I had won, and I just couldn't believe it. Honestly, my first reaction was I just started crying. I
How did you
literally,
find out, by the way, that you had won the contest?
yeah, so I actually got an email, and they had told me, you know, you had won the contest, and it was, so SummerSlam was a Saturday. I found out Wednesday that week.
Oh, really? Same week?
The
Bloody
same
hell.
week. Yeah. And I actually had to work that day.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of like, you know, told my boss, I was like, look, I can't make it to work this Saturday. And then they're like, is there any way you can kind of like make it to work? And I said, no. And then I was like, you know what? You can fire me right now. I don't
Yeah.
really care.
I would have been
know?
like, look, you either let me go or I quit. Like,
You know, right? Because it's like sometimes there are some opportunities that only come once in a lifetime, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Right. And so in my head, it's like, you know what, if it comes down to that, it's like, I gotta, you know, pick, you know, the opportunity to go to SummerSlam. And so, you know, I remember, you know, finding out that I had won, and I was just literally on the floor crying.
Oh, bless you.
Crying because it was like, how was this possible?
Yeah.
I remember my husband, he said, what's wrong? What's going on? He thought something bad happened, right? Because I was like literally on the
It's
floor.
actually just tears of joy.
I mean, God, if I can get an Oscar for that, I mean, I would take it too. But but I was just crying. He's like, what's going on? What's going on? I said, and I couldn't talk, so I showed him the email. And he's like, oh my God, because he actually told me, he's like, all right, don't get your hopes too high because there's 1 in a million chance that you could win this, right? It's like a lottery ticket, right? And he couldn't believe it either. And from that point on, I was just like, oh God, like, you know, this is my opportunity.
This is happening. Like, I'm going to be on that stage. Yeah.
Yeah. And then everything just happened fast. You know, they started arranging like our flights because I had to, you know, obviously for me, they had to fly me out there to Vegas.
Yeah.
And I could bring a guest, which, you know, fortunately for my husband, I picked him. So I brought him with me. And then so they had to arrange flights, and then they paid for our hotels. And they also had like a car service to pick us up at the airport. It was really nice.
They really treated you well then.
Yeah, so that was like a cool prize, you know. And then the next morning, so we flew out Friday night. They picked us up at 8:45 in the morning.
Yeah.
Our hotel, and took us to Allegiant Stadium. And then I just remember getting there and meeting the digital team, because they were the ones who were in charge of the contest. And they're like, hey, are you nervous? And I wasn't really nervous, to be honest with you. I was mostly excited. I think the fact that I had won, it was still sinking in my head. You know, it wasn't like, oh God, I'm so nervous because I get to be like in front of people. It wasn't, I didn't even think of that. It was mostly like, how is this happening to me? How did I get this opportunity?
It's like a fantasy, isn't it? Like a dream. Like, it's just
right?
Like, someone pinch me, wake me up. Like, is this really happening?
Yeah, because like, you know, I remember you know, watching wrestling when I was still in the Philippines. Born and raised in the Philippines, I started watching wrestling there. And I remember seeing, you know, Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. And it's like, you know, in my head, how could I get there? Right?
Yeah.
There's no way I could get there. I'm from another country, all these things, why I can't.
Yeah.
Right? Why I can't. And then I moved here, and, you know, my goal was just to, you know, sit ringside at a WWE pay-per-view. I was like, man, I made it to America. I'm going to go to a WWE.
And that's it. I'm done. But then for you to actually achieve this, like, that's incredible.
And there was just always this thing in my heart that, you know, I wanted to find my spot in industry. And in my head, maybe it's through like getting a job, because I do work in TV production. And so in my head, maybe I can like work, you know, behind the scenes, that didn't work out. And I was like, maybe I can be a wrestler. That does not really work out for me. I'm not athletic at all. So I knew right away, no.
That's why I talk to wrestlers as opposed to do it myself. I'm like, no chance.
Find a way to like be a part of the industry somehow, right? And then I just remember, you know, thinking in my head, well, how else can I be a part of the wrestling scene? And my husband, one time we were watching,
Does
I
he
want to
like
say,
wrestling, by the way? Or have you kind of just
no,
brainwashed him?
no, he does not. He does not watch wrestling. He watches it when, it's on and I'm like
Yeah,
watching
yeah.
it.
But it won't go out of his ways. But like, oh, look, like WWE's in town. Let's go see them.
No, he's like, go invite your cousin. She loves wrestling more than I do. And like a hint, hint. Well, just take someone who would really enjoy it. But yeah, so he just happened to tell me, you know what? Why can't you be like, a manager for like Asuka? Because at that time, I think Asuka was starting on at Friday Night SmackDown, and it was when Paul Heyman was with Brock Lesnar too.
Yeah.
So he kind of like put two and two together, and he's like, "Why don't you be like kind of like how Paul Heyman is to Brock, to Brock Lesnar? Be like that for Asuka." And then I was like, you know what, I could do that, and I started creating my YouTube videos, and as
Oh yeah,
Asuka,
there's a video. Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say,
yeah, and then the pandemic hit, and the wrestling school that I had always wanted to kind of take classes from, which is Santino Brothers. They happened to they started an online class, and I joined it, started to meet people, and then lo and behold, I got introduced to my first wrestling promoter, and he said, I don't have a spot for you yet for a manager, but you can be like a backstage interviewer. And I was like, fine, whatever, I'll do whatever. I just wanted to
Let me be part of the show.
Right, yeah, I just wanted to be a part of the show, right?
Yeah.
And then so that was my first show. I get to like interview like the guys. And the second show, that was supposed to be my thing, but they canceled it. And so I told the promoter, hey, look, man, we drove 4 hours to get here. Anything that I can do, because in my head, I'm not leaving this place without doing anything, right?
Just chain yourself to the ring, just like, I will not move.
Right? Because it's like, I'm already not getting paid. I drove 4 hours to get here. I need to do something.
Yeah. I love that mentality.
Right? Because it's like I need something to kind of like in my head, when I was, and mind you, this was just last year. I just started last year.
Yeah.
And in my head, it was just like, what opportunities can I get to like get my practice? That was just my mentality. Get my practice, get my reps in. And that promoter, he's like, well, yeah, we canceled that spot, your interview spot, but we don't have a ring announcer. And so I was like, well, I can try it out. And I said, if it's bad, let me know. I will not do it again. And after that, I kind of started getting booked as a ring announcer. And yeah, that's kind of like how I found my, my spot in the business, right? And so going back to like winning, the contest, it's like, how is this possible? I literally just started ring announcing last year, like March of 2021.
Yeah.
Fast forward to August of 2021, SummerSlam. And I, get to be the guest ring announcer. How is that possible?
It's also like how quick it's sort of transition, isn't it? Like you won the contest, you weren't actually supposed to be a ring announcer, backstage interviewer, and then like you're doing more and more shows, and that was by chance. And one thing I did notice about you doing the ring announcing for SummerSlam was it just felt natural. Like you wouldn't think you're just a fan that it's just does a random video and that's it. It honestly felt like you didn't look out of place, and you can even see Pat McAfee and the commentary like applauding you after you've done it.
Oh wow, that's awesome. I love that. Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like when I stepped in the ring that day, I just felt like, wow, I felt at home. It's as cheesy as it sounds.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Like, I felt like at home. It felt like, I don't know. It just felt like it was a perfect place for me to be in. I remember we did like a rehearsal, just to kind of show me where like things go or where I need to stand, whatever. And I remember stepping inside a WWE ring for the first time ever. And I was just like, am I dreaming?
It still hadn't sunk in, even though you're in the ring.
Right? Because like when that was happening, Matt Riddle was actually kind of like warming up. So he was like in one part of the ring, just kind of like stretching and doing his thing. And then in the corner of my eye, I could see Charlotte Flair talking to someone. And then it's like, in my head, it's like, how is this possible? I'm in the middle of this ring, and these are the people that I watch on TV.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's much surreal. Like now you like literally like they're warming up and there's you like doing ring announcing. It's just as opposed to watching them as a fan.
Yeah, yeah. And then, they gave me the microphone, and they kind of, because like as soon as I got there, they kind of like told me, hey, this is what we want you to. It was literally like on a cell phone. They just showed it to me. You want me to text this to you? And I said, sure. So I got the message. And then yeah, you're announcing that. Okay, cool. So I didn't know ahead of time that I would be announcing Big E and Baron Corbin. It was literally just like that day. And it kind of worked out for me because I think I enjoyed the experience more because I wasn't overthinking the whole, oh my God, I'm going to be doing this in front of a lot of people. It was never like that. Honestly, it was just like, wow, out of all the people who, wanted to do this, I got the opportunity. I felt really blessed. Like,
especially like a contest that's on TikTok. There must have been thousands of people entering this.
Oh God, yeah. And honestly, you know how like when you click a hashtag and you scroll, posts, my video wasn't even like in a top like videos for the contest.
Yeah.
Like I had to like scroll and like keep scrolling.
I might have to do this, by the way, after this interview. I'm gonna have to browse some of them and just see like what your competition was like.
And honestly, there's like a lot of people who are really great too.
Yeah.
And to me, I was just thinking in my head, well, you know what? I don't know what they're looking for. Are they looking for someone who's an established ring announcer, right? Because at that time, honestly, I wasn't an established ring announcer because I had just started ring announcing, right?
Yeah.
Or are they looking for like, more of like, a younger WWE fan who could like, ring announce? And so I felt like I didn't fit any of the categories. I was like, I don't know, I'm just gonna try.
But maybe that is what made you stand out, though. It's because you didn't necessarily fit into a category or a type that they were looking for specifically, and then maybe caught your eye. I mean, so it caught their eye.
You know what? Yeah, I think you're right about that because it's like I felt like I just kind of like, I kind of look different in a way. So part of me was like, I don't really know. Like, I don't know if I'm kind of fitting the mold. But then at the same time, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be me. And that's what I liked about this experience was I remember I brought like 2 or 3 other wardrobes that day. Because in my head, I was just like, I don't know how they want me to look.
Yeah.
Do they want me to look a certain way? Because, you look, you see the ring announcers.
Yeah.
Right. And in my head, do they want me to look like them? And, what people saw at SummerSlam, that's how I showed up there.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's how I would dress up at my indie shows, basically. My sparkly boots, my sparkly like jacket. Because, everything's flashy, in dress.
Oh, yeah.
So, when I was kind of like thinking what would Ringside RAINE look would be, like in the independent scene, I was like, you know what? I like sparkly stuff. I'll stick with sparkly shoes, sparkly jacket.
I genuinely was expecting like it to be like one of the, the people they have backstage to like, prepared you for what you're going to be wearing, but for you to actually wear your own attire as well, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, yeah. And I just remember asking them, what do you want me to wear? And they're like, oh, just like something like, like formal, like business casual or whatever. And then I was like, okay, well, this is what I wear at my event. So I just wore it. And then I said, do you need me to change? Because I brought like other stuff. And they're like, no, this is perfect. And honestly, that really helped me because that's my character, like that's what I'm comfortable with. That's who Ringside RAINE is. I call Ringside RAINE, that's like the alter ego, the ring announcer. That's who
like
Ringside RAINE is, right? And she likes sparkly shoes, sparkly jacket, everything's sparkly, right? And I just felt more comfortable because they said, oh, we like how you look. And all those things in my head that were like, I didn't fit the box, I kind of don't, I felt like I didn't fit like, a certain category. It just, all of those went away. It just, to me, it's like, wow, they liked me for me.
That is one thing I do want to ask. What was the reception that you like received after you actually did the ring announcement for Big E and Baron Corbin? Did any specific names come up to you and you like, oh, we really enjoyed what you did. That's really good.
Yeah.
Who? I'm excited now.
Yeah, so actually, after the first rehearsal, right? Well, I say the only rehearsal that day. It was mostly just to get like the mic levels and all that.
Yeah.
After that, I got out of the ring, and at that time we were still wearing masks, right? And you would only take it off like when you would have to do your thing. So I got out of the ring, and this lady walks up to me. I knew who she was right away. It was Molly Holly. She walks up to me and she's like, "Yeah, right. Great job. You did an absolute great job. La la la. Congratulations." And in my head, oh my God, she's talking to me.
Like this, me.
Great job. And then I think she saw that I was just kind of like frozen.
Oh.
And she said, "I'm Nora." And I said in my head, "Of course you are, Nora. You're Molly Holly." And then she like pulls her, because at that point I was still like, thank God for masks, because I think my jaw was just like wide open.
Yeah.
Not believing it. This is happening to me. And then she just kind of pulls her mask down, because I think she was waiting for me to respond. And in my head, I was just frozen. She pulls her mask down. She said, "I'm Molly Holly." And I said, "Oh, yes, ma'am. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you." Yes, ma'am. And then quickly, right after that, here comes another lady. She walks up to me, wearing her glasses, and she's like, "Great job, blah, blah, blah. I'm Beth." And in my head, like, why is my coworker Beth here? I don't understand. How did my coworker get here? And then she pulls her mask down. She's like, "Beth Phoenix." And it's like, no way. There's just no way this is happening. That was really cool. And then after the whole thing,
so I'm still laughing at the Nora thing. That's quite fun,
right? And then after the whole, the actual thing that I did for Big E and Baron Corbin, Molly Holly was still kind of like ringside, so she said, "Great job." And then when I saw Beth Phoenix again, because she sat right next to me during Edge versus Seth Rollins, she said,
"Oh, really?
Job. Oh, yeah, wow. Yeah." There was like an empty seat, and then like someone. Because kind of like throughout the night, there was a guy who was just kind of like trying to like sit in front, and the security would tell him, "Hey, you're not supposed to sit here," whatever. So they would kick him out. Yeah. And then there's this lady that sat right next to me, and oh my God, she's gonna get kicked out. I don't want to say anything. Yeah. And then I looked over, and I was like, "Oh, it's Beth.
Hi, Beth. Best friends now."
To me, to watch Edge versus Seth Rollins. Yeah. Part of me was like, "Oh man, I just want to get a picture with her." And I just remember I was told we weren't supposed to take pictures backstage.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I understand. I understand, to be fair. Yeah.
Yeah. And then so I was fine with it, because I think, yes, I am a fan, but I also respect that, they are there to kind of do their jobs too.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to necessarily break their rules. That's a rule that they have in place, and you want to leave with a good impression. Yeah.
And then in my head too, it's like, yes, I won the contest, but there is a task for me to do. Yes. And I didn't want to lose sight of that. Right. It's like, when I was walking around, like they were introducing me to like, "Hey, Drew McIntyre, this is Rain, she won it, oh, hey, blah, blah, blah." It's like I'm meeting all these superstars, right? Yeah. And to me, it's like, oh God, I'm meeting you guys, right? In my head, but it's like, just stay focused, you're here to get the job done. And
put away the Sharpie, you're not going to sign this now.
And then so like, when Beth was sitting right next to me, I was like, "Hey, is this a good time to ask for a picture?" And then I was like, "You know what? I'm
like, whilst our husband's wrestling like Seth Rollins in like in a grudge match, is you like,
right?" And the thing is, it's like she was kind of like, incognito basically, because she's like wearing a mask, wearing her glasses, Yeah. And I think she wanted to enjoy, watching her husband match. Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't want to ruin it for her by wanting to just be there. And if I figured if I start the whole, "Hey, let's take a picture," and then someone else sees it, and then
just be like, Beth, what was like you? What's Santina like when you take, just 21 questions? Like, no, I'm a ring announcer. Not fair.
Right. And then we kind of like chatted, you know, for a bit, and you know, she was like really nervous and all that. So I was trying to like kind of keep her calm, and but yeah, I was just like, man, it's okay. It's like, you know, I'll take a picture in my head. And you know, after SummerSlam, they had posted on Twitter that she was ringside watching
oh, right. So someone, yeah, you got that photo.
yeah, and it was right next to her, me. So I kind of had like a picture with her still, right? It just wasn't like a selfie kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I still got my picture with her. But yeah, it's I really enjoyed, you know, that opportunity to kind of like meet these people. And
once a lifetime opportunity. Like, not many people, like, they can do ring announcing for years, never get the opportunity. For you to have that, someone that like grew up as a wrestling fan, to be out there at one of the biggest shows of the year, probably like second other than Mania, to be out there to do that and to achieve it. Sorry, I didn't mean to knock the mic, but for you to have that, it's like, honestly, it's gonna be there forever, isn't it? It's imprinted.
yeah,
Like, it's there. No one can take that away from you.
yeah, and that's crazy because, you know, when WrestleMania that year too, it was still kind of like iffy, right? Because we're still kind of like getting out of pandemic mode, right?
Yeah.
And then so SummerSlam last year was basically like, I felt like that was the first test of like, we have a bunch of people,
Yeah.
we're gonna go all in. This is it,
things are back
right?
to normal now in a way. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, I look back to it, I see my pictures, I see the video. I still can't believe it, man. Like I
A
every
good
time I
chair as
watch.
well. Was that some?
Oh, that one is from like years ago. That's for my
Oh
first.
yeah. Oh yeah. The logo's a bit older. I'll just do it.
Yeah, this is the one from last year.
Nice. Did they give that to you, or did you take it with you?
Because I sat ringside, so
Yeah.
yeah, so I got to take it with me. So that was really nice. Yeah, and you know, every time I see the video, and that's when I get nervous.
Yeah.
Which is weird, right? Because it's like, while doing this thing, right? The whole experience, I wasn't nervous. I got nervous after because, yeah, mostly because it was done. I cannot change anything about it. I can't prepare it. I can't do anything else to change the situation anymore. It's done. A lot of people saw it. Now I want to know, how did I do?
Yeah, no, I get that.
Right? Because it's like the moment I remember when I met Triple H that day, he said, just have fun, because that's what we do here. You know, you don't need to be nervous, just have fun. That's what I did. I just had fun.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just like enjoying the moment, you know, because like you said, you know, there's not a lot of people who get that kind of opportunity.
No.
And
But for you to absorb every minute of it.
yeah. And I remember the referee for that match, Jason, I forgot his last name, Ayers, I think. He told me, he's like, you know, look around you, take a moment and look around you and take it all in, because it's very rare to get the opportunity to like kind of get in that ring and look around you. That's why when they introduced me, I kind of started looking around, and that's when it felt real, like,
yeah,
what's happening? So yeah, and then after the whole thing, you know, my husband was there. I just kept asking, did I do okay? How
I was gonna ask, what did he think of it?
You know, he couldn't believe it either.
Yeah.
You know, he was the one that I would drag to my shows. You know, he was my camera guy. He's like, hold my purse. That day he was holding my purse. Right. So he's just like, he couldn't believe it too. And you know, I'm just glad when he took his video of me, it looked fine, because I would be really mad.
You did record it, right? Right.
Right? You hit record, right?
Yeah.
My first show, I had asked him, hey, take a video, take a picture. And I was doing an interview with someone in the ring, and he did like a burst shot, a bunch of pictures. And then he sends them to me, and it's like, it's the whole interview, but it's like on a burst shot.
So he made up for it at SummerSlam then, by all you gotta do, the button and hold it. That's it.
Yeah, just hold it, don't move, don't breathe. Make sure your phone is charged. But yeah, it was yeah, I every now and then it gets brought up, and people would ask, can you send me the video? Send me the video. And I send them the video, and it's like, I get to watch it with them. And I'm like, oh my God, I get nervous. I get nervous still. That part
It's
of
like,
you.
just talking to you about it, you're smiling. Like you're still, I can tell you, glowing about the experience. It's, and I listened to like what your interview with one of my mates from One Stop Wrestling, shout out to Craig, and he was just like, oh, she's lovely. I can tell she really enjoyed the moment and the experience. And I can tell as well in that interview and for this one as well.
Yeah, because it's like, you just want something so bad and it happens to you, right? And you can't believe it. And it's like, and again, going back to my mentality of like, this is a test for myself. This is a challenge for myself. After that, I was like, man, I want more of this. I want more of this. I want to go back there. I want to, keep doing this.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like how, I kind of, frame my mindset that, hey, you know what? They finally know who Ringside Rain is, who RAINE CRUZ is. They noticed me. I must be doing something right, I guess. Yep.
They got a taste and a preview, but there's going to be more, 100%.
Yeah. I hope so.
Big time. No, there will be. And like for you to share the stories, it's awesome. It's kind of made me a bit jealous now that I didn't actually discover it, but honestly, I can't do ring announcements to save my life. Like just about to but no, it's cool. Obviously, I'm glad that you got to win it as well. But I will actually browse the other competition as well after this interview. One last question. It relates to your ring announcing. It's quite a fun one. If you can pick one match, because you are, you've liked wrestling for a long time. If you can pick one match from wrestling history that you can do the ring announcing for, what match would you pick?
Edge and John Cena. Unforgiven 2008 Toronto.
TLC. Yeah. Good match. Fantastic match, actually. But what is it about the match that you want to specifically do the ring announcing for?
You know what? I just love the energy of that event.
Yeah.
At that time. And that was around the time when I started wrestling, actually. Yeah. And I just remember big John Cena fan. I also love Edge, but at the same time, it's like, I felt like that moment they were in Edge's hometown, right? You feel like
Cena sucks. Yeah.
Right? And here comes John Cena, and then he ends up winning the WWE Championship.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, to me, it's like, here's the hometown hero, right? At that time, also a heel, right? Yeah. And here comes the baby face, being booed by everyone, and you're just trying to tell everyone, hey, I'm challenger John Cena.
Yeah. Oh, that crowd was wild that night. Honestly, it was a phenomenal match. If anyone hasn't watched it, by the way, that is listening to this now, go out your way to watch it after this interview. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, I want to ring announce that match. At the same time, I want to be ringside to watch that match.
Right, guys, before the ring bell, I've just done the ring announcement. Pause for 2 minutes. Need to get to my seat. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Because when I saw this match, this pay-per-view, actually, I watched this at a movie theater in the Philippines. Because at that time, that's how they would show pay-per-views.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was like, I think 9 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. I was at a movie theater.
Yeah.
Watching Unforgiven.
Oh, that's bonkers. That is. That's but cool though. Cool, different. I've never watched that in the cinema. I could actually imagine myself. I wouldn't want to watch it, but at the same time, if someone's going to be like rude in it, I will have words to them.
Yeah. So it's basically SummerSlam and Unforgiven, and then WrestleMania that I had to that I watched at a movie theater in the Philippines. Because at that time, that was what, 2008, 2007, and there's still no. Not like, the whole thing about you can find this online type of thing. It wasn't really, so
the kids don't realize how good they have it now, do they? All we've got to do is network, log in, match, done. It's that easy. I'm
Did
just
I say the year right though? Was it Unforgiven 2008?
Unforgiven 2006.
2006, right?
Yeah,
okay,
that's one.
Okay, because I was like, that can't be right. Because 2008, I was already in America. Yes, that was 2006. That was the same night that Trish Stratus retired.
Oh yeah, when she beat Lita. That's a fantastic, that's an underrated match, by the way. I love that match.
Yeah, which is also why I want to be at that event.
I'm gonna give him 2006, not just the match itself, but the event is what you'd pick to. Now I got that. It's a good show. And you got like DX and Big Show and the McMahons and the Hell in a Cell, the most random match ever. But yeah, Ian watched the entire show, not just the main event. But Ringside Reign. Thank you for coming on. Been an absolute blast, like for you to share the experience and just have a good laugh as well. Where can the listeners find you on social media?
Oh yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter. I'm also on TikTok and on YouTube at Ringside Rain. So that's Ringside and RAINE. And if you can see it on my shirt, Rain right there.
If anyone wants to purchase one of those, where can they find it? If you are selling them.
Actually, you know what? I haven't thought of selling it, but I don't mind selling them if someone's interested.
I'll take a cut just for introducing you the idea then for selling them.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, hey, if you want to buy Ringside Rain merchandise, let me know. Hit me
Let
up.
her know. Yep.
Social media. Again, it's Ringside Rain. You can catch my shows. I mostly ring announce here in the Southern California area, Los Angeles, Orange County area. I post my shows on my Instagram, so you'd see like the flyers and more information on the shows that I do.
Awesome. Guys and girls, if you can, reach out to her about the t-shirts and keep up to date with her and her shows and the ring announcement and the social media in general. You can do that. And if you did miss it, it's in the description below as well. If you can also like this video, subscribe to the account, that would be much appreciated. So I can continue this podcast on a weekly basis, interviewing awesome people like Ringside Rain. I'm going to say that. It's stuck in my head now. And then I can continue to do it and we can grow and keep doing what I love to do. And that speak to awesome people. But for now, everyone, I hope you all have a great week. Hello there. I've got a special announcement for my next guest. That is a reference to what we talk about in the upcoming episode.
Hi, I'm Adonis Payne, and you're listening to the What Do You Call It podcast.
You heard.